Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever night might be, wherever it is that you are. We're back with another fun-filled, action-packed, HTML and CSS-packed edition of the 425 show today. Sadly, our friend from Azure Information Protection could not make it this week. He has a new puppy. Which, saying that out loud kind of makes it sound like maybe he just didn't want to be associated with us, but in reality, he does have a new puppy. But he has assured us that he will be coming to talk about the .NET SDK for AIP in February. So we pushed it out a few weeks, just to give everybody a chance to get back in and get him sorted with his new dog. So good news there, which just means we get to hang out a little bit more and work on our EPM hackathon submission, which we're going to get into today, and probably every Tuesday and Thursday until the end of the month. Like, I think Shannon's got a show she's got to do with some folks here in a couple days, but generally speaking, you're going to get a lot of me this month, whether you like that or not. I suppose I suppose we'll find out by the end of the month. Anyway, how's everyone? Hello, chat. Nice to see some familiar faces. Code with Sean. Totally happy to talk about user groups. I'm surprised, maybe it's not surprised. How many user groups are actually still getting together in person? Does anybody have any that they're going to physically? I'd be really curious. Reason being, a lot of the ones that I used to go to and hang out at, they've largely sort of dried up. At least the in-person ones. So, way to go, Code Sean. Nice round of applause here. Let's see if I can find the right round of applause. Is it? Oh no, sorry, it wasn't that one. No.
What you are witnessing, dear friends, is the most enormous miracle of the machine age.
I mean, it really is. So congratulations, Code Sean, on passing AZ-104. Which one is AZ-104, by the way? What is AZ-104? Which one is what kind of stuff is in that one? Azure administrators. Nice. Well, good luck. That's part of a larger path, right? Part of a larger one. So good luck on that one. I think part of the we may have some exam vouchers and things available. I'm not sure. I'll have to check and see. But if anybody's interested, let us know. I know we've got some stuff going with the hackathon. Some of the prizes I believe are going to be exam vouchers. So I have to check with Shannon because she put most of that together. So I'm I don't really know why they keep me around, because she does all the work. Sort of like Christos used to do all the work. So I don't really know, but I'm happy to be here. It's been an interesting few days now that everybody's back from holiday, and we're all attempting to get back to work. I know it's been tough for my kids going back to school. And then of course yesterday we found out about this. I saw a rumor in the news. I don't really want to confirm or deny, but Sean, Code Christos, who I know. It's funny. So last week during the show, he actually logged into Twitch for a few minutes, and I was kind of part of me was like, oh, maybe he'll join us, but no, not today. There's a rumor going around that Microsoft is switching to unlimited paid time off, unlimited vacation, whatever you want to call it. And I can neither confirm or deny, because I know people are talking about it on the internet. But there's a thing about it that makes me kind of curious, which is it's cool on the surface. You're like, oh, I can take as much time off as you want. It's like, well, maybe, but maybe not. I'd love to take the next 52 Fridays off, for example. But I kind of feel like if I put that in, they're going to be like, nah, you can't do that. Because 50, I mean, what? Oh, I mean, we're already a couple Fridays in, so say 50 Fridays. We'll keep it round, right? 50 Fridays. So if I want to take every Friday from now until the end of the year, 50 Fridays is 10 weeks. That'd be the equivalent of 10 weeks vacation that you're taking. And that includes no other vacation. But I mean, it's unlimited, right? So I guess you get it all done. Maybe if you get everything you need to get done, maybe that's cool. And the thing is, I'm not even necessarily so much concerned about people abusing it. People want time off. Absolutely. I think everybody should take as much time off as you can. I'm more concerned about, what if you work for someone who's a total workaholic and takes a week of vacation a whole year? And you're like, yeah, I want to take these, I'm taking time off. I guess in my opinion, it feels like it leaves a little bit too much up. It's almost like too much discretion given back to managers and the company and whatever. Because I sort of feel like one thing I've noticed since my time at Microsoft is that every year they're very particular about making sure that you take vacation because you got it and you're going to lose some of it and all that sort of stuff, because you've got an amount of vacation. It's sort of like the expectations you're going to take it because you're sort of like entitled to it, right? Like, well, you work here for X number of years and you've got X number of weeks of vacation. Well, you should go take those weeks of vacation. And I think what you're saying right here, Sean, that's exactly where my head is at, which is if you're going to do unlimited PTO, I feel like adding in a minimum. And not like you get fired if you don't take enough kind of a minimum, but a pretty strong minimum of like, hey, like you got to take at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. I think that would be really helpful to help kind of stymie some of that concern of like the interpersonal differences or judgment and blah 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 blah. Like, because if you're one of these people that's worked here for a long time or worked anywhere for a long time and you like accrue vacation on a schedule. And you get more over time. Like, if you've got 8 weeks vacation because you worked here for 25 years, like, I think you should absolutely be entitled to take that. I mean, it's a perk. It's a benefit of the job. So, I guess, in my opinion, it might be cool. I'm just a little anxious about it. But, we'll find out. And I do believe that minimums would help a lot. So, granted, yesterday somebody also told me that most of the arguments against unlimited PTO are dubious. So maybe it's a complete non-event. I don't know. Maybe it's a non-issue. Maybe it's nothing. I don't know. But anyway, COVID the way it's been the last 2 years, like where would we have vacated anyway? We couldn't get on a plane. Nobody, you couldn't go anywhere, whatever. So I am a little excited to maybe get a little bit more travel in this year. But especially since we moved, it'd be nice to get to the beach, which is nice and warm. So anyway, yeah. So we got some stuff. Cranking this week. I think we're gonna try to get these hackathon submissions in by later in the week. Of course, join Discord if you are not already a member. We'll put the thing up here. In fact, I'm going to send. Let's get you the link to. Ooh, that's not readable at all, is it? Let's get you the link to go and sign up for the hackathon. So the hackathon's cranking now. It's going to the end of the month. There's like 19 days left. We got 200 or 300 people already registered. So you want to make sure you register for the hackathon. Get signed up. It's going to run to the end of the month. What we're doing now for the rest of the month for us here on this show is we're going to be building the submission that I'm going to do with the team. So if you want to be part of the team, come and ping me on the thing on Discord, whatever. We got some code and some repos and things we're working on to get this out. And today we're going to keep kind of going in that same vein. We're going to work a little bit on our EPM Genius extension, which I think is simultaneously a terrible name and a great name for what we're doing. I'm also fairly certain that folks here would be upset if we keep calling it EPM because I think there's another product called EPM. So Entra Permissions Management. So this is a great question, Sean. So Entra, not entirely sure the best way to pronounce it. Sort of like Azure. There are 48 different ways to pronounce Azure. There are at least 3 different ways to pronounce Entra. So it isn't really the name for Azure AD specifically. It's the name for the umbrella of identity products. So that could be EPM, that could be Azure AD, and lots of other new stuff that we expect to release in the coming years. Like most new things are going to fall under that Entra sort of branding, right? So Azure AD, for example, is still Azure AD, and it will always be forever because that's what it is. Can you imagine the confusion if we came out and said, actually, it's not called Azure AD anymore? I don't think that would go over super well. So Entra is like where most of the new stuff is going. So permissions management, Entra permissions management, that sort of thing. other new stuff's going to follow kind of a similar thing. And then some features, like some features and things are pretty big. Like conditional access is still a part of Azure AD, so it's like Azure AD conditional access. Because can you imagine, Microsoft Intra, Azure Active Directory conditional access policies are only a part of Microsoft Intra, Azure Active Directory Premium P2 licensing. It's just like, whoa, that's just not. I mean, it'd be a very Microsoft thing to do, don't get me wrong. But I don't think we're going to have to go too far down that road. So, it is kind of it is a little bit of a circus, but it's been a fun year. I kind of like the rebranding, like we've got a whole new like design language, which is reflected in the new graphics here, which we're still sort of integrating into what we're working on. So like all the security stuff has new branding and yada yada yada. That's why we look a little bit different, and 425 show's got to grow up a little bit so that the rest of the company, so the branding people don't chase us out of the building and we can all stay gainfully employed. So, at least for now. Anyway, but yeah, so glad everybody's here. Anything interesting? Anybody got anything interesting going on? They want to share with the group. I'll put got our Discord link here too if you want to join our Discord. Had a little bit of conversation out there this morning about some functions and consumption plans and the like. So if you got Azure questions, anything like that, we try to address it all because of course identity is the pulse of everything at Microsoft. So one of those things where if you got to do it, if you're going to use a Microsoft service, you're going to have to touch one of the identity systems to get there. So anyway, so we've got a few things we're going to work on today, primarily with our EPM Genius Chrome extension. So I guess if we're ready, we can dig in. Everybody ready to go? Just give it a shot, see what we get. Let's see. Oh, one more here from Sean. Azure AD Groups, M365. Is there an M365 group or something that gives an AD user an Office license? Hey, Fuel. An M365 group that gives an AD user a license. I don't know if you can do group-based licensing. I imagine, well, maybe? I guess? I don't know. I don't know if we can do that. M365 group-based. I mean, it comes up in autocomplete, so maybe? Oh, wait. There's the first answer. Admin Center does not currently support group-based licensing, so. If a group inherits a license, if a user inherits license from a group, the license appears in the Office Admin portal as a regular user license. If you try to modify it, the portal returns an error message. So my guess is that maybe you can assign them to a group, but all you're really doing is assigning an individual license to a user. It's just that the assignment happens via the group. But the thing I would wonder too is like with dynamic groups and PIM and all that sort of stuff, like can are we going to be in a position where we're going to start blowing stuff up with, you need a license to go modify this Word document, so here you go, and then 30 minutes later you lose your license. But okay, so let's talk about EPM for a minute. So again, the hackathon link, 425.show WAC EPM-hackathon, has all of the prerequisites you need. So like the Discord link is in there, the developer tenant. So if you want to get a developer tenant to test this, because it's free, you can go get one of those. It's got a bunch of M365 licenses for free. And the EPM, the Entra Permissions Management thing, Entra Permissions Management trial, right? So all the links to sign up for those are at the hackathon webpage. And so from the Entra Admin Center, entra.microsoft.com, this is where your permissions management sort of jumping off point lives. So we're going to come here because we're already here. Let this page reload. So we've got the sort of bare bones of our extension already here and loaded, right? And so that's Clippy, our guy Clippy down here. And right now we're only painting the tab yellow because that's just a way to make sure that our code is actually running correctly. Of course, we got lots of console logs because why wouldn't you? Of course, you're going to console log everything. So let's go take a look at this code and see what we can get. Let's zoom this in a little bit. Ooh, might be a little bit too much. Let's zoom in. I'll zoom in the code itself. How about that? Since I've been primarily Mac recently, the keyboard shortcut stuff, it's just weird. I'm just gonna say. So my VS Code has most of my Windows keyboard things in it, like Control Save, Control EK or Control CK for comments, Control ED for format document, because I cannot break the muscle memory to do it. But I did get one of these neat keyboards. It's got like all the split stuff. It's like what's it called? A ZSA Moonlander, and it's pretty neat. I have to say, I kind of like it. Very clicky though, so if it's too loud, let me know and I'll switch to my normal one. Anyway, so today. I figured today I got to get the UI sort of straight. And when I say straight, I mean the bare bones minimum UI, because I'm not a designer. I'm not very good at HTML, CSS, or any of that sort of stuff. But I do want to get the basic sort of modal window, or not modal, but the basic tooltip pop-up style thing coming up and putting some data into it. So our element data, this is how we're going to choose the different items in the thing, the different items on the page, right? Right now, I'm using data collectors. I'm using any element that has an href of data sources, data collectors. Now, I'm using this because it's relatively unique to the data collectors tab. I imagine we'll need to find some more specific ones as we go for certain things. But for now, at least, this is what we got. Now, for content, I think content's going to change a little bit, because if you recall from last week, instead of it just being like straight up put whatever you want to content in there, I think we're probably going to end up in a spot where we maybe take like a header, some content, and like any links that you want to link out to, or an href. Although an href might be kind of weird, because then you got to have href text, at which point it's like, well, now you're just reinventing HTML. Anyway, so I'm going to leave the content as is for now, because it's just going to be a string. And we'll just leave it, because we're just going to inject it into the div. And if that means that we're going to inject into the div today, Clippy always has an office license. You never know. I mean, they tried to put him in the corner. Nobody puts Clippy in the corner. I don't know if he has one or not. They may not have even given him one. Poor guy. Maybe that's why he's gone. That's why they got rid of him, because he wasn't licensed. And a software company, licensing is how you make money. You don't have a license, So maybe that's what they did. So I guess he is sort of back, isn't he? I mean, what do you mean he's back, Fuel? What do you mean? I've seen him, but I don't think he's back. He's not like Cortana back. Granted, Cortana was only back for a little bit too before Windows Phone got killed, but different. We'll go into that complaint today. What do you mean he's back? I want to know what you mean by that. I don't know, Fuel. I don't know why he's back. So, I've seen him around, but I didn't think we could use him anymore. Granted, if we can use him, then they'll probably get mad at me for using him here, because they're like, what would the Azure AD equivalent of Clippy be? Let's see. So Clippy was in Office. He was a paperclip, because those are things that are kind of like part of Office documents. What's kind of like a part of an identity system that we could use instead of Clippy? JWTE? I don't think that works. Anyway, sorry. I'm distracting myself with that. Okay, so we're just going to use some straight up content for the moment. And so I was thinking, like, okay, how on earth are we going to attach these events, right? And at first I was looking at like a hover event, which isn't really like a hover. It's more like a mouse over, mouse exit, right? But then it's like, well, I did some looking around the internet this morning, and of course I ended up at, what was it, W3 Schools, I think, like this, one of the great parts of the internet that always has something that's useful. And I thought, they've got something, and sure enough, they do. And I can't believe I didn't even think about this. But yeah, see, Fuel, that's what I mean. Like, he comes back and he's gone. All right, I'm going to open this link very carefully. Oh, he's in Blazor. Somebody wrote a Blazor for Clippy. I love that. I wonder if we could do WebAssembly. Can we do WebAssembly in a Chrome extension? But where is he? I don't see him on here. I don't think he's here. Uh-oh. I think your app is broken. Oh, no. It's too bad. We'll put this in the list to come back to later on. Pure source code. Oh, like pure source code or pure source code? I don't know. I'm gonna put this somewhere so I can remember to do it. What is that called? A favorite? I wish you could just star one of these because I don't need it to be a favorite forever because favorites, there are too many favorites so you don't use them at all. Anyway. Okay. So, of course, W3 Schools had a great thing. And I can't believe I didn't even think about this at first, but CSS already has all this built in. Hovering and showing stuff and whatever. It's already got all this stuff built in. So why are we going to try and reinvent this wheel? Good. Here we go. We got a GitHub repo. We're going to star this repo so we can come back and maybe we'll work on this and fix it one day. It looks like Clippy and Blazor going together. Oh, that's so funny. He looks like he's definitely Blazor Clippy there. Okay. Oh, you got all the little agents. That's awesome. Okay. Actually, this might be really useful. I might try to use this later on. When we get to making Clippy animate, because I feel like if Clippy animates, everyone's going to like that. Because the people who don't know what Clippy is because they haven't been around long enough, they're going to be like, oh, ha ha ha, look at that stupid little thing. And the people who know Clippy are going to immediately have a wave of nostalgia, and then they're going to spend money on EPM. At least maybe that's a leap, but we'll get there. Anyway, we'll come back to this one. And we're going to try to fork it. I'm going to fork it. We can work on this later. This would be a good thing for us to integrate into our Chrome extension. I'm tempted to do that today instead, but got to stay the course. Anyway, so CSS does the thing that we want it to do. It's got hover events. We can change visibility based on hover, which is ultimately really all we need to do. Is when a hover happens, pop. Little box comes up. Little box says, hey, here's the stuff that you need to know about this thing. You move away from it, little box goes away. So looking at, they're calling it tooltips. I mean, these look pretty good. I don't really like the way they look, but that's fine. We can come in. Of course, we're going to make it bigger and make it more of a modal, but I love that we can do it. Pro tip for building your resume, fork lots of repos. I love it. Oh, it's so funny. Fuel. Like, recruiters hate this one trick. Oh. Although sadly, I would imagine there are probably a decent number of people out there doing exactly that. You fork a bunch of repos and then say, hey, look at my GitHub profile. Especially for folks who aren't familiar with GitHub or don't use it every day or whatever. So anyway, looking at theirs, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. You know, I kind of like what it is, and then we can inject this inject these divs with this content into our Chrome extensions, the CSS that it's going to inject, and then away we go. So this way, at least we get our visibility and our hover, sort of hover in and out. You know, they've got a nice little fade effect. So I think we yank this entirely. We'll modify it to fit what we need to fit. And then it's just a matter of attaching or injecting these for each one of the selectors that we match. We're just going to build up some HTML and plunk it out. Just blow it out there. So let's see here. So we got a tooltip container. We got our text. The text is in the container, of course. The arrow is the after, okay. And then show the tooltip text when you mouse over the tooltip container. So this is absolute positioning, but interestingly, if you look at their example, for example, so it's 100. So let's see. How is it? Is absolute? I thought absolute positioning is within the div, or sorry, within the parent container, right? So that would make sense because fixed positioning would be fixed over the whole thing. I believe, and absolute would be within the box. Because we're going to have many of these, right? So I'm just going to grab this and we'll figure out a good way to clean it up. Now, one of the things I've learned is, let's create a folder here called, let's just call it style. I guess we'll pluralize it since everything else has got that. And let's do a new file. We'll just call this, whatever. Although, I don't know if we really want to do that. But rather, if it'd be easier, just do it directly in JavaScript just to inject it. Because I'm already doing a little bit of that right now. Because we got to generate all of our HTML anyway. So we might as well... Well, but I mean, this is a lot of CSS. We're probably going to want to reference it from somewhere. So maybe... Let me start here. So let's see, tooltip CSS from, and we'll put a link to the W3 thing here. That way we can always get back to the place from whence it came. The other thing I'm curious is what is the licensing on W3 Schools stuff? I wonder. I've never actually thought that through. Like, what does their licensing look like? Let's see. Tooltip CSS from here. We're going to change it, of course, quite a bit, but I'm going to make sure credit where credit is due. W3 Tooltip CSS. This way we can put all of our other stuff under here. Or I guess we can put it at the top. So let's just see if we can get this injected first. In our manifest, when we want to access resources from the page itself, this is what this resources array here under Web Accessible Resources is for. So we're also going to do styles. And those are only accessible from anything ending in cloudnox.io or localhost 5500. Pretty straightforward there. Localhost 5500 is our local environment, although to be honest, at least as of right now, we don't really have any. I mean, I guess we could maybe make a really simple page, but we don't really have anything at localhost, so eventually we'll want to dump that anyway. I think we should change the name, because there's a name. What do we call it? I forgot now. There's a name that we had for it just a minute. Oh, EPM Genius. Let's call it that. Which is probably a little... It's probably a little... what's the word I'm thinking of? Might be a little on the nose, but whatever. So we're going to need to inject our CSS. So here we're creating our helper, and this is Clippy. I just called him helper because if somebody made me make him not Clippy, I would have to change that, although the variable's still called Clippy. So I'm going to put this, I guess, into the info box. Right? Because, although I'm already getting all this stuff here, maybe I should just get it instead of having to constantly go and query the DOM or whatever. This code probably needs to be completely sort of refactored and cleaned up already, as dirty as it is, but whatever. So let's just let's also append another one here since we're here. So let's append a child. And the child we're going to append is a style, a link box, I guess. Let's see. We're going to create an element, and that is a link element. And look at that. I mean, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Look at that. Way to go, Copilot. So, it's not called content, it's called style. So, I don't know if this is actually going to work, but it's worth a shot. So we're going to append our child here. And if that's all it is, maybe we do put that somewhere else, but whatever. Okay. So this is our style sheet. styles, style.css. Cool. We're using Chrome runtime get URL. So this will get the like HTTP and then like the long string ID of your Chrome extension. This will get that URL and put it in front. So you actually get the proper URL. So this should give us our tooltip. I'm going to reload it over here, browser side, or on the like in the browser, and let's go look and at least see if we end up with our new thing in the EPM portal. So we're going to reload this so that our extension reloads, and let's just see if let's see if that changes at all. So link. Okay, got a bunch of scripts. Some more links. Okay, so there's style. Let's see, those are all the CSS style sheet, or those are all the React style sheets. What's this one? So there's our helper container, so that's good. I don't see our new one. So there are all of our links. Asset CSS. These are all part of CloudNox itself, or EPM itself. Here's our style that we've injected, and then here's our link. Are we not closing? Did I not close the tag? Create an element. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Create an element. We got our link. We're appending a child. Well, to the internet we go look, I suppose. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, look at that. It's in a Chrome extension. Even better. We're probably going to either find out that that's not allowed or we'll find a good way to do it. So the type, the rel, get to elements by tag, up, append child. This is basically exactly what we're doing, right? That all looks good. Insert CSS. Now that's an interesting one to go look at. Forget all that create element code, just add the CSS file to the manifest. Oh, even better. Perfect. Look at us. Look at me trying to do things way too hard. The thing is, we could probably also put all of our Clippy styles into our style, and then we'll just include it in our manifest. Man, that's amazing. Love that. Perfect. Let's just call this style. I suppose we could include all of them if we wanted to separate them. I'm not going to separate them right now. So here's our tooltip stuff. In fact, I'm going to make everyone really sick to their stomach, and I'm going to write region here. At least so that we can collapse it. I wonder if it, I think it might actually work. End region. Because, I mean, it's in a comment, right? So I'm sure all of my .NET people are going to disown me now. Okay. So now let's do our... let's see, Clippy, or we'll call them the helper container, which, again, this might change anyway if we decide to use the other cool Clippy thanks to Fuel. So let's just take we'll take this out here, go dump this in over here. Oops. Let's take this, put this into our style. Okay, oops. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so we got our style. Nice. Here's our helper container. So those should just be, which means we can get rid of our style here. We can get rid of our child. So get rid of this, we get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. And presumably the only thing we'd need to build is the HTML we're going to inject into the page, which is just our little Clippy container. All right, let's reload that and see if we at least get back to the base of what we wanted. Okay, EPM portal. We'll do a reload here. Okay. And let's go look. So Clippy's there, meaning the CSS must be there. I thought you'd like the region, Sean. That's mostly for you and all of my other .NET friends who you write region too many times, you probably don't end up with that many .NET friends, But it's good because that looks like our CSS is there because Clippy's there in the right spot. We can confirm that if we look at our head here, we'll see Let's see. What will we see here? It's got to be coming from somewhere. I'm just not sure where. So, but presumably it is in there somewhere. Is it maybe not put into the head? I wonder where. Chrome extension CSS ultimately gets dumped when it's a content script like this. Unless perhaps it's put somewhere into the bottom, but no, I don't see it down here either. So where is it? You're absolutely correct about that, Sean. Region is definitely abused. I'll never forget. I was working somewhere and I opened up a file, and I mean, it was like literally tens of thousands of lines long, and it's all regioned. You remember all those code generators that used to create regions? Oh, awful. But in the case of CSS, I don't want to have too many files because, of course, we don't want a bunch of extra requests, even though they are local. We want them all to go in there. So here's our helper container, but I don't see did this thing actually reload? Did we actually, we saved the file. I don't know. I wonder, I am a little surprised because I don't see where that CSS is unless it's somewhere magical, thanks to Chrome. And we don't have to chase this down now. I am a little curious where that code ends up. Let's see, sources. It's a little weird. I wonder then if I was to search in here, would we find like tooltip, for example? Yeah, it's the honestly tooltip, which almost makes me wonder, like, is this not actually reloading? Did the name change? Yeah, so it still says EPM Genius, which we did make that change. Reload. I'm going to reload it one more time just to make sure, but it's here. Clippy's still showing up. So where is that CSS showing up? It's a little odd. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know where it is. I don't know where it went, but it's there because otherwise Clippy wouldn't be in the corner. But okay, but there is no tooltip, however. So once we put our tooltips in, they're not going to show up. And I guess that's probably what I'm really mostly concerned about is like, well, but the CSS for our helper container is not here. So where is that? Let's see. Is it in here? So that's an injected style sheet. Okay. Maybe it's because is it because we don't have any HTML elements maybe? That use that yet? I'm a little, I guess a little concerned or a little curious now. So if we go all the way up here. Anyway, well, let's go create a tooltip and I guess we'll see what happens. The magic of Chrome. I guess we can go look at what content scripts do here. Let's see, manifest. Let's see. How can we not? Okay, it's Google. I can't search the documentation. Oh, there it is. Content scripts. Let's look for CSS. Okay. Declared statically. So here are our static declarations. So yeah. So the matches, what sites it's going to run on, the CSS, and the JS. Registered to manifest under content scripts. Okay. List of CSS files be injected to the... These are injected in the order they appear in this array before any DOM is constructed or displayed for the page. So it's there. We just don't see it. Or at least I don't see it. It's okay. I'm going to trust the process that it's there. And just, I guess, hope. I hope that it's there, because I don't really know what else to do. So I think what we'll do for the moment, just to get our HTML sort of square, is let's create our info box, and ultimately we're going to create. I'm thinking anyway. We're going to create one of these, which is ultimately our sort of tooltip box. We're going to create one of these for every element that we find in that selector or in the selectors. That we want to do. For the moment, let's just attach one to a static one so that we can see how it looks and see how it works and everything else. So the HTML for that, the way that we'll come back here and look, it's pretty straightforward. Not really a whole lot here. I'm going to go over here to their little try it editor. Okay, so that's a hover over me. Okay. Now, what's the relationship between these? So there's a tooltip, and then there's a div called tooltip. Easy enough. And it's pretty much... Ooh, I don't know. This is... I'm not entirely sure it's going to work super well. We might end up hacking this stuff up a whole lot more than maybe I thought. But whatever, it's cool. We'll figure it out. Okay. So... Yes, it is a command. Thank you very much. But let's take a look at what. Oh, that's right. This is pretty simple. So let's see here. So we gotta create a div. Oh, okay, cool. I'll take that. Thanks. Thanks. Well, I'll call it a tooltip. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay. And what we're really going to do, I'm assuming what we really want to do is append it as maybe a child or a sibling to our selector, to our selected object, right? So we look at our code, the code behind that runs this portal. Let's go to data collector. So data collectors, this is the href, so this is why that selector matched. That's why it's also why it's yellow. So this, what we would really want is for this to come out underneath it, right? Is my thought anyway. I suppose there's a case where maybe underneath would get cut off, but I guess you have to have a really tiny thing or like a really zoomed in page. So it comes out underneath of the box, right? So it wouldn't be, so my guess is it would probably be a sibling here. If it's relatively, well, but the positioning is going to be interesting. That's why I need a front end person. So this has a span inside of it, okay? So if we were to make it a sibling to this, where is it going to show up? And if it's not, and I guess it's going to depend on how fixed or absolute the CSS is. So I'll start by making it a sibling to the target. And if it is, and then I guess it's possible a child, but I think that's just going to make the whole thing, like the layout stuff's going to be really wonky. I guess the alternative would be we do it completely as a, we position it ourselves, perhaps. Relative to the selected or the targeted object or targeted element, but let's start simple and get complex as we have to. So we're going to create our element, and then one thing about our box. So ultimately, we're going to have an element come in here. We should probably do this in like TypeScript or something, so we have some. It's not all stringly typed, but whatever. So we've got our element, and what we really want to do is we want to do element append. Oops. We'll do it. I don't know if we can do a sibling here. Element. Let's see. Can we get a parent? let's see. What do we have in our element? Do we have a parent object in our element? Let's see here. I'm just going to go get our element here. So we've got our element. Let's just we'll just create one quickly down in here. We'll zoom this in a little bit so everybody can see what's cranking down here in our console. Let's just get one of these quickly. We'll get the first one. And, you know, the home button stuff, home and end on macOS is bizarre. I'm going to call this E because nothing else is ever called E. Okay, so E's our thing. So does E have a parent element? Yeah, okay, so it does have a parent element. Okay, and then is there so here was where we would append the child. Okay, so we get our parent element, and then we're just going to append a child. So to the parent element, append child info box. Okay, so we're not going to add any event listeners. We are going to generate an info box. I'm going to take this. We're just going to use, I don't know if there are any comments up there. It doesn't look like it. So generating info box 4. And then we'll do a generate info box and we'll pass the element in. Now, come with me as we see with the probably nearly the least confidence ever that of anything that I've ever written that this is going to be even remotely what we're looking for. But let's see. Okay. Okay, so it's not there. So I guess that's a good thing. Okay, so there's our parent. Oh, wait a minute. Did it show up? No, it's not even there. Oh, wait. Am I actually doing anything with it? Yeah. Oh, no. Because I don't want to append a child to the document. We want to append it to the element. Right. Okay. Now let's also go make our tooltip background like something completely ridiculous so we can see it. Like background. I don't think that's the actual background of the thing, is it? Oh yeah, I guess it is. Yes, it's got some opacity. Okay, we're gonna make the background of this like. How about BBB? Is that a bright one? Or I need like a color. B1B, B12B, FA. I don't even know. Purple. I like purple. Let's do that one. Okay. Text is purple. All right. All looks good. Cool. Save. Oh. Interesting. My extension has an error. So let's reload. Let me clear the error. Sorry. I know you can't see that because it's on another screen. That's just in the extensions pane of your browser. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so I don't think it ran. How do I clear this thing? I don't like this. Okay, I'm gonna run this one more time. So our console should show us. So we're getting our helper, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't think our code is running at all. Because if it was, we should get found elements. Okay, elements for each, console log, generating our info box. Cool. And then generating the info box. So all that should be okay. Are we running find detachable items? We are. Okay. So that's running. Wait a minute. Oh, this is our array. Okay. So we found all of our things. Usually we get a message that it found something. Doesn't look like it's doing that right now. Cannot read out properties of undefined. Oh, sorry. We're calling this early, which I shouldn't be doing this here. My original idea was to generate the box and then change the content. So I'm only injecting the box into the DOM once. We don't need to do that right now because we're going to try it a different way. So, okay, that's cool. Let's do this. Reload, clear the errors so that I don't have to go back and look at those again and get confused by them. And let's reload this page. Okay. Wait a couple seconds. Our extension's going to load. Bam. Found one element. Generating info box for null. So this is clearly a success. Still nothing. So don't see. Let's look for tooltip. Okay, our tooltip is not there. Looks like anywhere. Let's go all the way up to HTML tooltip. Not there. Okay. Wait a minute. I think tooltip might be a reverse, or tooltip might be a name that's in use already. We should probably namespace or whatever these things. Let's change ours because yeah, we don't have. Ours is not that. Okay, let's call this. We'll prefix everything with EPM Genius. I think there's a better way to do this too. Can we do EPM Genius as a top level and then have all of these inside of it? I don't know if we can do that. I don't think so. Do not use empty rule sets. Yeah, well. Yeah, I guess you can't do that. That's fine. We'll just rename it. I'll rename them for the moment because I just want to see if we're on the right. I just want to see if we're on the right track more than anything. Okay, let's just call this EPMG. Okay. And then we'll just. All those should be, well, we can come back and make all those children, I suppose, if we were feeling so inclined. Only descendants, for example, and that way everything will be contained to our little tooltip boxes. But it looks like we should probably do that for our other guy too, but we'll come back to that. So, because it looks like we're conflicting with another thing called tooltip, which I guess kind of makes sense, since tooltip is a pretty generic term. So. Our class is going to be epmg.tooltip. I guess we don't need a dot in front of it. And our span will be epmg.tool. Cool. All looks good. Let's reload this and see where we're going. Okay, we got our info box generated. That's great. Still, oh wait, no, there it is. There's tooltip text, so I guess that's a start. So it is injected to the side. My guess is that perhaps the rest of the code that makes our tabs here is probably pretty messy. Thanks for coming, Sean. See you next week. We'll be back. So there's our tooltip text, but it looks like none of our other stuff's actually picking that up either. So here's our EPM. Here is our tool. Here's our tooltip class. Maybe that class doesn't work. I wonder if the dot is causing me problems. Because it's definitely showing up there. epmg.tooltip. Let's go over here and change a few things quickly. So instead of let's just make this dot epmg dash. And I don't have to worry about any sort of weirdness. And we'll just, oh no. We'll just do a really quick find and replace on epm.epmg.tooltip. And we will replace that with epmg dash tooltip. Should be good. Tooltip text. Oh, it looks good. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Let's save this. Let's go change our content script to use that instead. epmg dash tooltip. Cool. Make sure our CSS is actually getting applied correctly. We'll reload our thing here. And we'll reload our page and we'll see where we are. Okay, so now our tooltip is like completely gone. Our EPMG is completely missing too. So where is the element that we have inserted? Should be a sibling here. So there's our EPMG tooltip. So it is there. Okay. So that's looking, so it's definitely there. Doesn't seem like it's on top, however. So if we look at our layout, let's get this down here. Oops. Okay, that's just how it's structured. So I wonder why it's relative. This is what I need. This is why. Actually, I guess our data collector here. Let's see, when this one's hovered, then that means that our EPMG tooltip should now not be. Oh, did I actually put a hover on our thing? I don't actually think that we did. That would probably be why. So tooltip hover and tooltip text. So really, See what the best way to do this is. So we've got our. So really, when we hover over the other element that we're attaching to, that's actually the element. We want that hover to be the hover that causes this visibility. So how would we assign? Let me go back over here for a sec. So when you hover over the tooltip as a whole, so what we want is when we hover over another element to cause this element's visibility to change. And now that's why I wonder if we have to use one of these pseudo classes to go like after or before or something like that in order to do that. Because otherwise, I guess there's a part of me that doesn't. Let's see, if we were to hover over. Hover to show another element. Okay. Maybe there must be something we're missing here, or something I'm missing here. On hover, show another element. Okay. All you need to do is with CSS if they were nested. Well, I guess they'd have to be nested. So we'll have to make it a child. So if it's a child, when it hovers over the parent element, okay, that's what we'll do. So we're going to have to change this to the child. So instead of the parent element, it's going to be the child, right? And the element, we're going to have to add a class to, and that's going to be the EPMG tooltip hover, right? Yeah, there we go. I think. Is that right? Would that be? I think that's right. Because this way, when we hover, what's up? It's Kira. Or Kyra. I don't want to make assumptions about how to pronounce people's names. I've gotten in trouble on that one before. It's cool. We're just I'm trying to make a Chrome extension do some stuff. Inject some elements that overlay into other ones. So that's what I'm doing. What are you doing? All right. I'm thinking this is what I got to do to make our hover, because we're going to hover over the parent and it's going to cause the child to show up. And if it's super ugly, that's cool, because we can always find someone to make it look pretty. I just want it functionally to do what it's supposed to do. So let's go look here, reload this up. Let the extension load, because I got a delay on there. It's a hard delay, which you probably should fix. Or make it a little bit less, but okay, so hovering here should cause this other thing. Just got re-rejected from my major, so I'm wishing a plane to crush on my house right now. That's pretty awful. I don't think you want a plane to crush on your house. That sounds awful. I feel like that would only end poorly for everyone. So, preferably, we don't do that. If you don't mind me asking, what's your major? Because there are lots of majors out there. Maybe there's another one that's more interesting. I don't know. I mean, it's not me to be presumptuous and assume that something else would be better. But I'm sorry to hear it didn't go as you expected. Oh, I guess you don't add the class of EPM tooltip. Yes, I don't know what I'm doing. This front end stuff. It's just a. Okay. Does anybody know any designers we can hire? I need a designer. I need someone who can help a brother out. Okay. Reload this thing here. Maybe I should have gone back and fully read the answer that was given as to why they have to be in a parent-child relationship. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Another worry is we're going to end up making it like disappear or something because it's EPM tooltip. Oh, what? Okay. Look, there it is. What? All right. I'll take it. You wanted AI. What is AI? Like artificial intelligence? Art institutes? What is AI, Kira? Can you major in artificial intelligence now? I didn't know that. I haven't been to college in a long time. And the times I did go to college, I tried to go a whole lot of times and it didn't go very well. So I went and I went and I went and I would fail and I'd fail and I'd fail. I'd do really well for a little while and then it would just all go off the rails. So, like I'd get distracted or chase some girls or whatever and then I would just end up like failing out again. So, well, I mean, so again, like I'm no authority here. I really don't know what I'm talking about at all, but if you got rejected from it, re-rejected, that kind of implies, I guess, that this isn't the first time, right? So, do they give you any feedback? Like anything you can use to like know like what they're looking for? Or is there like another school or something that can give you, that has like a similar program or something that, is it going to give you the runaround? I don't know. I'm trying to think about. There might be some other options. But rejection is a terrible feeling. I know that feeling, and I don't like it either. So I kind of can vibe with what you're saying. I get it. Okay, we'll take a quick little break here. So we got our tooltip text showing up. It's not pretty at all. It's purple, which is fine. I actually don't mind the purple. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be lower. But it is working. Now, the other question, I guess, the other thing I'm wondering is, if I have more than one of these, what's that going to look like? You know what I mean? So, like, let's look at this button, for example. So we got this button, and let's use the button, and let's try to find, let's see, see, there's very little here we can actually sort of tack onto, right? In terms of selectors. So I wonder, so this is our deploy DC. So this one's area label is create configuration. Maybe that's what we use. Presumably we can use an area label here. So thank you for following. It's Kira. We do software and stuff like this channel's all about like identity and security and stuff, because that's who pays us. We work in an identity group at Microsoft, but like most things, or like many things, identity touches everything, so we got to talk about everything. So what we're doing right now is building the Chrome extension to give people help, like in this portal for this product that we have called EPM, Enter Permissions Management. So we're writing a Chrome extension to do it. I'm not very good at front end, which means JavaScript and CSS sort of elude me. So there is, that's what we're doing right now. And then like next week, we're going to work on like some data storage and Azure and writing some code for that, probably do some C# and whatever for that. It's a little bit .NET. So yeah, stick around, hang out. I got a friend who comes on here and streams quite a bit. Her name's Shannon. She comes around. She's got lots of stuff that she does too. And we're going to have some new folks coming on here fairly soon, which I'm pretty excited about. So, all right, here we go. Documents. Let's do our query selector all. And we're going to use what we just picked up here. So our format, we've got this and this and this. And I'm fairly certain we really need is one of these and one of these. Now, is this going to give us our button? It is. So let's go take this. Well, I'm flattered, but I'm not very good at writing software or writing web software for sure. But thank you. I appreciate the kind words. So feel free to hang out with us. We try to keep things fun. It's a little bit more fun when I have somebody else with me. In fact, my buddy's calling me right now. I wish I could get him to join us because he's quite a character, and he's amazing at doing lots of different voices. Right? I think that's one of the things. It's like, sadly, I feel like a lot of folks. Let's see. Start here to configure your data collector. I feel like lots of folks take themselves way too seriously. Like you can take your work seriously. Obviously, work is serious, and some people get paid and make a living and blah blah blah. But you can't take yourself too seriously, because then you just get kind of boring and lame. So, all right, let me get back to my thing here. Where is this thing? All right, let's reload this. I'm going to see if I get this second one. And then I'm going to go because I got to eat some lunch and I got to take a bio break. So I'm going to do this and we're going to get out of here for the day. Probably come back later. Might come back later today. Maybe come back later in a few days. But look, there we go. We got our tooltip text hanging off of both of these. That's good. They both work. since we're generating our tooltip data, it should be relatively straightforward in our CSS, or I'm sorry, in our JavaScript here, that the text that's going to go in here is going to come from, let's actually go ahead and get our content. It's going to come out of our content. So, put that in here. And the content will also need to send over from here. Let's see. So this is our element data. So this is element.content. That comes out of our array. So away we go. Reload this. And let's see what we got. Reload this thing up here. Okay, we're loading, and there we go. So we got some text there. This text did not show up, interestingly enough, but this one did. Which does somewhat make me wonder if it has something to do with, I mean, the content should be the same, right? I mean, the content's there. Selector, content, all that looks good. Let's see, configure your data collectors. Connect environments. So we're back. Okay, it's funny that you say this, right? I've never actually seen this. The Seth Rogen thing. You are not the first person to say it, however. I think the meanest thing anyone ever told me on this show was that I looked like Samuel Tarly from Game of Thrones, and I was offended because it's like, he's like twice my size. Like, I get it. I'm not svelte by any definition of the word. However, Samuel Tarly, I'm not. The Seth Rogen thing, I don't laugh like he does because he has a very distinctive laugh. And my teeth are all jacked up. I think his are okay. I don't really know. But, No, I know you don't mean it in a bad way. I'm just kidding. But yeah, let's see. Seth Rogen's teeth. Are his teeth jacked up? No, his are pretty normal. See, mine are all crooked and going the wrong way. Although I got to go get those fixed. So, yeah. I mean, I guess maybe the glasses, just like a bearded. I mean, I'm also a generic white guy, a middle-aged generic white guy with a beard and glasses. So, we take what we can get when we can get it. But it is kind of funny because I never heard that till we started doing this show. So, okay. I'm going to see if we get one of these. So we got our EPM one. Configure your data collectors. I like it. I love it. That's great. We got to move them around, I think. We're going to make them sort of come out underneath and whatever. But you know what? I might have to cop a screenshot of this to show to my buddy who's all excited about this. So I think it's pretty cool, though. I do like that we can do this. Obviously, lots of styling and stuff we still got left to do, but it's I'm feeling good about this one. I'm liking this one. So let me see. I wish I could see where the window opens before you open a window. You know what I mean? So anyway, okay, we got to get out of here. So I got to go to lunch, and I got a meeting at 1:00. So I got to get ready for that. So I got to get out, but we got to go raid one of our friends. I'll be back on Thursday doing more of this. Hopefully less, hopefully a little bit less CSS and a little bit more code. But it's all got to get done. So let's go see who's streaming today. Mr. Fritz is streaming. We're gonna go over and raid Mr. Fritz, who's I'm sure working on his Clip Talk C# stuff. So. Thanks for coming. Thanks for our new followers, and I'll see all of you in a few days. So keep it tight. Until then, let me get out of here like the fat kid in dodgeball. Later on, everybody.